Through my research, outsider preservation is defined as centering the voices, the perspective, and the places that have traditionally been outside the field of historic preservation. And what we really center through outsider preservation specifically are the voices and places associated with historic African American settlements. These are communities that have not been in the middle of traditional planning processes, historic preservation processes, because they may have never been on maps in the first place. So outsider preservation is really about all of those grassroots approaches to trying to preserve and uplift the heritage and stories of those places. The way that outsider preservation disrupts the traditional ways that we think of or we even teach historic preservation is that it de-emphasizes the kind of regulatory definitions of what makes a place and what makes an expert. Outsider preservation helps us to think more about the entire context of that particular church built in 1920, so that we can understand that it's significant based on the people who live there, based on the river in proximity, based on a larger context and picture that you can only get through oral histories, through oral traditions, through cultural performance, through ephemera that you won't find in the library, but you can only attain with one-on-one interaction with these communities. Rather than just centering the building and sort of thinking that something is significant and important because it's, preserved in amber and looks the way it did in 1920, we're more so fixated in what is the story, what are the histories, what are the memories that have infused this place or this particular building with meaning that makes it valuable enough to be protected, or to integrate it into our larger story of how Americans make places, and really changing that whole kind of narrative that really centers a certain American story of placemaking, a certain American story of settling and creating cities and towns that's absent from much of our public history.